Let's go!
I was checking out the scouting report, and I don't see nothing but bums. You and your whole entire world know that I am the one. You and your squad ain't got nothing for me.
Hey.
Your organization is looking stressed.
What?
And now that you haters is running from me, I know that you see that I'm highly blessed.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, we live with your boy Coach G. Yeah, we live with your boy Monty.
You and your squad ain't got nothing for me. Your organization is looking stressed. And now that you haters is running from me, I know that you see.
Episode 17, we are here. Welcome into another edition, another episode of The Rewind. Your captain of the ship, the man that's going to hold it down tonight, the man that may be the referee in tonight's matchup. One's fighting in the blue corner, one's fighting in the red. But other than that, all glory to the good Lord. Thank you. Another episode. Shout out to my dog, Chris, 1990 Studios. 17 weeks straight. Give ourselves some grace, but we got more work to do. Spring merch is on the way. I talked about a little bit last week. We will start doing pre-orders in the next 2 weeks. We have a tracksuit set as well as a short and shirt set. Colors and all that stuff has yet to be determined, but my vendor will make sure that we'll put out the best product we can in terms of colors. So I'll keep you guys posted with that. Man, tonight's episode, we are blessed. If you know New Jersey basketball, if you know New Jersey roots, these two people are at the top of the game in terms of wins, in terms of titles, in terms of victories, technical fouls. My guest that is coming on tonight, he did come on in 2020 when we first started this thing. We were live from Bryant's basement. Took us about 3 hours to get the damn thing going, but he was able to be patient with us. He stuck in there, answered every question we had, was very, very knowledgeable in terms of his information he was giving to us. But I told him, we're going to bring you back, but we're going to do it right, the right way. So 5 years later, I should say, he's been winning state championships since then. So it's been pretty remarkable to see his success as a coach. A lot of people don't like him. I personally, I'm a fan of him. He's been very, very fortunate to myself and my life, as well as my co-hosts, as well as my sports group on Facebook, Global Sports Entertainment 3. He's been supporting us since day one. He's bought merchandise from us. All the credit, all the praise goes to him. Just a very, very, very influential, successful man. I don't know how many more years he's got left on the sidelines. I don't know how many more technical fouls he has in him, but I look forward to tonight's episode. But without further ado, I'll bring in my co-host. Let's see if he behaves tonight because he's got a big weekend coming up. I'll talk about that shortly. But four-time state champion, over 400 career wins in his co-head coaching career, Temple alum, Chicago's finest, Chicago, Illinois' finest in terms of you don't want to mess with anybody from Chicago, especially where he's from. Football and basketball, football first. He is in the Nork Hall of Fame. This is going to be a great episode. I can feel the energy already, but want to welcome in my dog, BG, Bryant, Garv. What's good, BG? We got a nice episode tonight. What it do?
Representing Chicago, Inglewood. That's where I'm from, baby. So anybody know anything about Inglewood, you got to keep your head on the swivel, baby. That's all it is. In order to survive, you got to look left and you got to look right and you got to look forward. But you damn sure better turn your ass around because something could be come up right behind you. It is what it is. Represent Chi-Town, Inglewood. That's how it is.
Hey, look, as my great Reverend Wilson says, it is what it is until it isn't. But we got a big weekend coming up, Brian. I'm really excited. I'm honestly proud of you to finally get to this remark again. You've been having a lot of setbacks in terms of dates, things that's supposed to happen, photo shoot, et cetera, Texas, et cetera. But you finally laid the groundwork down. You put in the work. You've been putting in the work. You're going to continue to put in the work to finish out this week. But we've been talking about this for the last few weeks in terms of updates. This is the final update, folks. Bryant, give it to him.
Well, I got this test coming up here on Saturday at 2:30, 2:45. I got to be there by 2:30. And am I a nervous wreck? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, hell, I think I've been studying for this thing for so long that I'm getting bored with it. But it's not an easy test to take. You know, every time I look over my notes, it's something else that I catch. So let's see what happens. If something bad don't happen again, I just take it again. I really don't care because I'm retired. I can do whatever I want. It's a beautiful freaking thing. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, I'm looking forward to Saturday getting over with so I can just move on.
You know, for people out there that may not know, I've been down his road twice with Bryant already. He's failed by one, both occasions. And he's not someone you want to be around. He puts a lot of work into this thing, like a state championship game or like a TLC final. And I can only imagine losing or failing by one. I've been there. It sucks. But he needs at least 48 hours to decompress. He doesn't want to talk to nobody. He don't want to eat. He don't want to do nothing. So people of the global sports entertainment community, people of the Rewind that support this podcast and support the YouTube brand, which you can like, subscribe to at the Rewind_GSC3. Please give all your love and support and prayers to Bryant because he's going to need it this weekend. And I look forward to him texting me or calling me and saying, God damn it, I pass on to the next because it's already been written. But Bryant, man, tonight's guest, I'm not sure how this is going to go. I don't even know. I don't know. Honestly, I'm scared as hell as the host because, man, you guys have been coaching against each other for over 25 years. You guys have played against each other in the biggest New Jersey basketball games in terms of Group 4 sectional finals. You've been at his arena, while he's in Linden. He's been at your arena at Eastside and Newark. You've been at Elizabeth road games to win. I mean, this is just history in the making, and I'm blessed to have been able to put you two sons of bitches together virtually on a podcast to talk sports, to talk high school, talk careers. But without further ado, I'll introduce our special guest tonight. He's an 8-time Group 4 state champion. He's won also the Group 4 state championship during COVID year. He was an assistant coach during his first 4 state titles. Out of the 8, he's won it 4 straight times in a row, including getting to the TLC, winning at Elizabeth. In my eyes, he's a future Hall of Famer. He has so many wins, so many accolades as a coach. He started his ranks for 2 seasons as an assistant. I'm sorry. Take that back. Take that back. Take that back. He's been a head coach at Linden High School where he's had a ton of success, winning state championships, having players going to play Division I basketball, having players play at the highest level, even overseas. Then fast forwarding to his second half of his career in coaching, he went to Elizabeth where he's from, born and raised, his alma mater. And to been able to have the success that he's had, when he first got to Elizabeth, they were nothing prior to him getting there. He's took that program, he's resurrected, brought it back from the dead, and won multiple state championships there, including the one during COVID. But if you flash back to 2020, he came on as a guest. That was a remarkable, funny story now that we get to talk about it. And I said here in 2020, June 9th, that he will be back on the show down the road. I didn't know down the road meant 5 years later, but all grace to the good Lord. That's just the way it went. And Brian's been a big support. But let's bring him in. Coach Colicchio, New Jersey's finest head coach of the Elizabeth Minutemen basketball team. Now, Chris, just put these two on a screen for me. Take me out. Let's just acknowledge basketball roots history. Let's just call this for what it is. 2 of arguably the best head coaches in New Jersey outside of Coach Hurley. No disrespect to the GOAT. But Coach, man, what do you got to say about coming on tonight? Welcome back welcome to your first live episode of the Rewind. You came on back when we had, what was the name of our show in 2020, Pop? I can't remember. I don't remember. But it's his first official appearance.
It was a first of a shit show. We were doing COVID. I called it a COVID shit show.
Global sports entertainment shit show. But Coach, thank you for taking the time to come on. I'm blessed to have you back. Bryant and Colicchio, all hell may break loose. From rivals to friends, you love to see it, folks. The power of growth, as I should say. These two will yell at each other. I'll let them two talk about it. I know
Are we allowed to curse on this podcast?
Absolutely.
All right. I got a good first story. I'll start us off with.
That's the wrong damn thing to say. You should have told them no.
The last time we played each other was my first year back at Elizabeth. We're 22-1, I think, and we're playing them in the state finals, sectional finals, at our place. They were favored, and Brian was kneeling like he always did, and Anthony was up coaching. And I said something to the referee, and the referee told me to get back in the box. I said, well, tell him to get back in the box. he goes down and tells you that I'm complaining about you when I wasn't complaining about you. I just said, if you worry about me, then worry about him. So I come over to explain myself, and what do you say? The fuck out of here. So naturally I responded, well, fuck you. And the game was over. And I think we forgave ourselves, but I think he knows that I wasn't saying nothing to the referee. I think the referee was trying to play us. That's the problem. And we fell into it. But they won that game on a buzzer shot. Great basketball game by that little guy. I was so glad he grabbed.
Well, it was at a point during that game because I always kneel, and nobody understood why. But I kneel today. I can't even get out of bed without kneeling. But at the end of the day, the officials was coming over there and saying that that you were complaining, and I was like, complaining about what? I'm focusing on my team. I'm not focusing on what's going on over there. And he was saying some choice things that saying what you were saying. And then that's what it got things heated. And we was going back and forth. And it always was like that, Phil. We've been going at it each other since 2001.
Mm-hmm.
Even during the summertime. So it's always was a good battle going back and forth. We all had great athletes. The program that I built over there was just doing it right. I didn't need to go overseas and recruit anybody and whatever it may be. I just found some kids and made them better. That was it.
And I thought the remarkable thing, it was such a rivalry. I don't know if we ever had a fight between the kids on the court.
No, we didn't.
I remember the one year we played you there in the sectional final. I think my last year in Linden, and the referee. And I said, "Do you know anything about?" I remember the wrestler from South Jersey. I said, "Do you know anything about either one of our teams? We play each other, and we've never had a fight. So stop worrying about us fighting."
Yeah. That's one thing that we did do. Both teams respected each other because we already knew, Phil has some teams. And I tell you what, we've been coaching for over 20-something years. And one thing that really just wrecks my brain is I've never won at Linden. Ever.
Tough, Jim.
Ever. But here's the crazy shit about it is that I would go up to the official and I would sit there and say, look, we already know we're down by 10 coming in here. We already know. You know what I mean? And it doesn't matter. At first, I thought it was you. But then after you left, who's the guy that replaced you?
Anthony Drager.
Anthony. Right. So Drager, it was the same shit. So I'm like, wait a minute. So it's not you. I already know what it is. It's Linden, because you already know what Linden is about. The whole city.
Linden never won a state championship until 2000.
Well, guess
all the great players they had in the past, they never won. That's what made our winning that much more enjoyable. We won 6.
Correct. But it was like, I don't know what the deal was, but I'm like, I said it's virtually impossible for a team to play each other for 20-something years and never win in that place. I said, explain that to me.
How many times we win in Eastside?
Twice.
Twice? I don't remember that.
I do. Well, I do. It was twice. It was twice. As I was sitting there looking at I said, we never won there, but they came here and beat us twice. I remember the one time that we beat you, you were so fucking pissed off that he kicked the water bottle, the jug, and we almost got into a scuffle there. That's when I had my back surgery. And I had on this big ass brace, and one of your assistants came over to me. I swear, if I didn't have my back surgery the way he came to me,
we'd still be in the gym fighting.
That was some wild times, but yet, they're good memories. We just keep it going. I'm retired now. Will I ever come back? I don't know. I have no idea, but I know I'm not coming back to Eastside. That's just out. You know what I mean? That won't happen. If I come back, it'll be somewhere different. For sure.
Somebody told me when I was teaching in Newark and I was contemplating leaving and going to Linden, guy said to me, kids are kids. No matter where you go, kids are going to need you. So whether you're at Eastside, kids need you, or if you go to West Side or wherever, kids need you.
Yeah.
So it's not just, and our kids are used to change in their lives. That's what he told me.
Right.
There was an older guy I taught with by the name of Otto Floyd.
Oh, I know Otto.
Yeah, do you?
Yeah.
Great man, and we used to sit in in the office and talk all the time, and he used to give me a lot of advice. And thank God I took his advice and I went pretty well.
The rest is history, folks. Let me ask you guys a question because you guys have been rivals for so many years, and to of course see you guys' friendship grow and to bury the hatchet on some things. Yes, basketball, it's all fun and games, but the objective is to win. And when two teams like you guys have had over the years go against each other, you guys just want to win. You guys don't care about anything else but win. So, Coach, let me go with you, Colicchio. What's the relationship with you and Bryant have been post since he's retired? And how do you feel about obviously during the years he's made you better? Safe to say, I hope that's correct. And I'm sure Coach Colicchio's made you better, Bryant. But what's your relationship? What's it been like to you post since he's retired and moving on into bigger and better things? Because you just could never rule out him not coming back. I think he's done, but just never know.
I think we both always had a lot of respect for one another because he's more of a quiet guy. I would talk to Anthony more than I would talk to Gar before a game. He would do his little routine where he was, and Anthony and I would talk, and I don't, so not that we weren't friends, but I think that mutual respect was always there. I don't personally, as a head coach, know how them two did it that way and how they coexisted. It's really, really special what they did. My ego is too big to share it with somebody else. And those guys, I mean, really, I'm not kidding you. I would say, well, what if one wants right and the other one wants left? Where do they go? To the middle? I don't get it. But it just was a perfect combination. It worked really well. And ultimately, the main thing was to just help so many kids that needed help. That probably if they never came into their lives, they wouldn't be doing what they're doing right now. Not probably. I know that for a fact, that they changed so many kids' lives and continue to do so, whether they're coaching or what, they'll continue to do so.
Bryant?
Well, my routine, one thing about Phil and that I respect big time is that, with me, I coached in college for about 6 years, and I just finished coaching at Morehouse football-wise. And I wasn't challenged in basketball in Jersey because a lot of coaches didn't really take this serious as far as that coaching part. And the one thing about Phil and Elizabeth is that he made me prepare for him all season long. No other coaches has ever made me prepare for them all season long like Phil. I'm a film guy, so I watch film like crack. And I watch not only one game or the game before we played. I watch an entire season. I watch if you play 28 games and I was the 29th, I watch all 28, and I check out tendencies. And so he was the only one I actually had to do that for because everyone else was basically basic, unless Catholic schools are predictable. They play this slow pace type offense, and it just their whole thing is predictable. So they had to make some changes when we played them, like Seton Hall. But with Phil was, he knew us, we knew them. We're so used to playing against each other. He knew our offense. I knew he knew what we were going to do defensively. And it was just basically, it turned out in the third and fourth quarter, just a street basketball game. And we just played the game. That was it. All bets were off, and the better player made the better players win. And, that's one big respect I have to him. Even like, what is that Catholic school with Bobby Hurley?
St. Anthony.
St.
Anthony's. Yeah, with St. Anne's. With St. Anne's is those guys just slow the game down. They run their one set and they just go over and over again. They just bore you to death, and then they wind up scoring. And defensively, we had them routed. One time we lost a game against them. The score was 35-15. Like they couldn't score. We couldn't score at all. We couldn't hit the side of a barn. But it was that type of game defensively that they wound up prevailing and beating us by that score. But at the end of the day, I enjoyed playing St. Anthony's, even though we only played, I think, a total of 3 times during those 20-something years. But that game I had to prepare, but I couldn't prepare for them like I prepared for Elizabeth or Linden because we consistently didn't play each other. If we did, then it'll be a whole different ball game. Then I can pick up Catholic school tendencies easy. It just made no sense. But with Phil, it was just very difficult because his system, you really had to prepare for it. You really had to understand what they were doing on both sides of the ball. It was a joy to basically go and do those particular.
Well, not sure what's happening with Bryant. Maybe that's how you know it's true. That's how you just know it's true. Bryant, you all right over there? You good? Good.
Yeah, something happened there. Yeah, I'm good. But yeah, that's basically a nutshell in the game. But if I always said, Phil, that if you look at Jersey basketball, it's always 9 times out of 10 the same teams in the playoffs. Same teams, and that to me, I wasn't used to, because in Chicago, you have different teams every single year because everybody was that good. It's just not certain teams. Everybody was good. And as I came over to Jersey, there were different teams early on in the 2000s, but as the years went on, it was consistently the same teams. And after a while, it was like this. What's the point? Public school basketball is kind of narrowed down to, whether it's going to be Linden or it's going to be Eastside. Or it's going to be Elizabeth, it's going to be Eastside. Or it's going to be Plainfield. You stick a Plainfield in there every now and then. Go ahead.
And you got to throw Camden in there.
Yeah, Camden, Camden fell off, for a good stretch of 15, 18 years. And then now they came back up. And then now it was just that way. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it was. It was NJSIA. I think they had a part of it because they gave all the Catholic schools the will of the way to recruit 1,001 damn kids and from all over the country and even Africa. And the next thing you know, they was pretty much dominating New Jersey, and then you got Bergen Catholic recruiting kids from New York, and the shit is crazy. What's that?
Worse now.
Yeah, and now I can imagine.
Now, because they have that free year, it's worse. It's ridiculous. You get 1 free year to transfer.
Oh, that's what it is now?
Yeah, so if you have a really good sophomore and he transfers, he don't have to sit out. Nothing. He plays right from the door.
Wow.
And it makes no sense. That's why I'm glad they did away with the Tournament of Champions.
Because now it's just like, Eastside, I don't think, and I could be wrong, but I don't think that Elizabeth would ever play Eastside again because of what's going on. It's hard to keep kids in the school, and then the reputations of Eastside, things are dwindling down, and it just, even North totally is just not what it used to be.
The only way it might happen, Brian, is if one of your former players wants to be a coach and is serious about being a coach.
Right.
That's about the only way. This is why I'm hoping that when I retire very soon, Darryl Lampley, who was a great player for me at Linden, 2-time MVP, the Group 4 final. That's why I hope, we're grooming him right now to become the head coach. So I'm not stepping down until I'm kind of reassured that he will be the head coach, because he deserves it. But that's what I take, somebody who has that same pride and same passion. So if one of your former guys ever really wanted to do it, I don't know if they can ever equal the success that you guys had together.
Right.
But they can still change kids' lives and in turn win games because of that too. Get kids into college and make kids, see beyond Eastside.
Right.
And I think that's what we've all done a pretty good job of, us as public school coaches who've been there for a while. It's funny, right before I came on, I just got a call from one of our councilmen in town. And he wanted to know where my guard is going to school because he has a scholarship for him, and he hasn't announced it yet. And I said, okay, when I'm done with the podcast, I'll call him. I said, so you can give him the scholarship. But, that's what makes it all worthwhile. I'm sure you remember Tony Wilson, who played for me. It was a great. He just got married this past weekend, and to see the pictures with all his my ex-players, and there must have been about 30 of them there. It was really cool.
Oh, cool. Good stuff.
Guys grow up and become men.
Yeah, it was good. At one point in time, I wound up going to Randy Foy's wedding in the middle of New York and enjoying that, and that was a good time, and with his daughter, and he had one at the time, I think, and now he has 3. And then he's just a girl dad. So, and then seeing all the rest of my players like Pierre Mitchell and and Jeff Carswell and all those guys successful. They're more successful than I am. So I look at them to shake my head like I didn't imagine that would happen that quick, that fast. And those guys they come back around and we all hang out and get together and do what we do and play golf and it's a good thing, man. I just hopefully that those type of things just don't change.
Well, those things don't happen by accident. Those happen because you breed it, you talk about it. Guys who aren't real, they'll never have that relationship. You're real. I'm real. We yell, we scream, we curse, we get after them, but they also know how much we care about them. And that's all that matters. I mean, people always say to me, man, you really get on your kids. They never answer you back. Yeah, because I care about them. It's like my own children. My own kids, if I'm reprimanding, they're going to, I can't curse in front of my own kids. My wife won't let me. But, she'll hit me with the back of her shoe. But, our kids are like my family. They really are. And that's never changed. That's always been my recipe for winning, even though, I'm getting a little older now. So maybe I'm more like a grandfather now than a father. But, coming back over to Elizabeth after leaving Linden, that was the key, was getting these kids and capturing them. It was easy because I was coming from Linden. It wasn't 10 states away.
Right.
You going from East Side to Chicago, nobody in Chicago cares about East Side.
Right.
But, going from Linden to Elizabeth made it easier. But we captured those kids right off the bat. I mean, we had a kid by the name of Josiah West. Yes. Maybe the freakiest athlete I've ever coached. Freakiest. And everybody said that kid will never play for you. You'll never be able. Within the first summer league game, we captured the kid. He started off the season with an alley-oop dunk in Trey Patterson's face. Trey, who went to Villanova. We alley-oop play, dunked in his face, and we went right from there. And Josiah ended up being an all-state player. Here's a kid everybody told me he wasn't a good kid. He's not going to listen. He just graduated college, 4 years. Never played before I got there. So to me, that's success.
Yeah, my saying is that you can never curse a kid that you don't take care of. Yeah. Just can't do it. Right. I cursed all of them out, so they already knew that if I'm taking care of you, I'm gonna curse your ass out. That's just what it is, because it's coming from the heart.
You weren't playing favorites?
No, I played favorites with nobody. And this young man named Monty Moss, no, because I've had his ass since he was 4. So, yeah, you know it. Hey, how many cursings have you gotten?
I've lost count.
Get him an abacus. Let him count. He don't even know what an abacus is, Brian.
I mean, look, I think you guys have both set the standards and your own prospective programs, and the players follow. And you guys have done a great job of being leaders of the game. You guys have done a good job of being leaders of men, teaching young boys how to turn into men, giving them all the tools that they need for the toolbox to go on out once they leave high school and go into the real world, rather it's a trade, rather it's work, or rather it's college. Those memories, those moments, they'll never forget. And it's truly a blessing to hear you two both, obviously coaching for a long time before I was even born, to the amount of kids' lives you change and the amount of kids, the road you guys paved for them to go down to be where they are today. And it's nothing more, I'm sure, in terms of gratitude to see former players turn out to be successful, rather businessmen or married men or have children or a career or whatever. So my hats goes off to you guys. You guys both deserve your flowers while you're here. And I want to be the person to give it to you, because without you guys, or without you guys becoming coaches, or without you guys even going to the respective schools that you guys chosen, who knows what happens, right? Bryant stays in college coaching. I may not never meet him. If Coach Colicchio doesn't leave Behringer, he may not have the success that he's had, or he may not have won the state championship that he's won. Actually, that's a lie. He always finds a way to win. But he may not have changed the amount of kids' lives that he's changed. That's just the true DNA of who you guys are, and the hard work and the grind that you guys put in year in and year out, sacrificing your summers in terms of vacations and travel with your family because you're on the road supporting your kids, rather it's AAU or rather it's recruiting, and then obviously preparing for a season because most of the time, 99.8% of the time, during that stretch, you knew Group 4 wise where and who was going to meet up, where they're going to meet up at. And you guys, I kind of feel like you guys have always kept an eye out on each other's teams throughout the year because PowerPoints and who's going to get the advantage. And then you don't know if Eastside's going to Linden or Linden's coming to Eastside or Eastside's going to, of course, Elizabeth. So it's truly a blessing to see you guys do what you guys do. And I know Bryant's retired and Colicchio. I'm not sure, Coach, how many more years you have in you. I'm not sure what the agenda is. We got one more state championship run in us. What is it?
I'm getting close to 600 wins, so I think I'm 13 away. And I'm not really big on individual awards, but that's a nice milestone.
That's special.
Not a lot of guys have achieved it. You know, considering we won our 400th at Linden in the state finals.
Wow.
Won my 500th against Patterson Kennedy in the North finals, the year of COVID. There was nobody in the gym. My wife wasn't there. My children weren't there. My brothers weren't there. My mother was nobody. There was an empty gym. That's a very shallow way to win your 500th, and it was just anticlimactic. My kids gave me a ball, and we got to the locker room, but there was nobody in the gym. So I figured, you know what? Hopefully 600, maybe we could sell out the Meadowlands or something. And,
I need tickets, Coach. I need tickets.
I think I'll know. People tell me you'll know when you're ready. I'm getting there. I still like practicing. I still like the games. I still love the kids. So we'll see. I get run down during the season like any coach does. If you ask me in the middle of the season, I'm done at the end of the year. You ask me at the end of the year, I'm still done. And right around now, I start getting my juices flowing again. Summer leagues ready to start, and New Jersey Live and Philly Live, and so start getting excited again. But I vowed that back in 1998 that I would never go to another AAU game, and I haven't been to an AAU game since.
Oh,
yeah. I don't do the AAUs. I just don't do it. I can't do it. It just and I get asked about it all the time, and it's just not good fundamental basketball, man. It's just not. They just don't play well.
They play games. That's all they play.
Right. Roll the ball out and just play.
That's why winning isn't that important to some of them, because you play a game at 9:00 in AAU, you lose. Who gives a shit? Because you're playing another game at 11. Yep. You lose that one. Who gives a shit? Because you're playing another one at 3.
Yeah.
Anybody can play AAU if you got $2,000-$3,000 to pay for it. It's not like back in the day where you had to try out. If you were good enough, you made the team. You played AAU. If you weren't, you went and played in the schoolyard. Now again, mommy or daddy have $2,000 or $3,000. You can join any AAU team you want.
Wow.
AAU is really not AAU like we grew up thinking.
Right. And it's like that's where all the coaches go. And I never understand. Me, especially as a college coach. How do you evaluate kids off of things that are not real? You're sitting there and you're watching a kid go up and down the court. He play half-ass defense, and then offensively he doesn't run a set. They just go on one-on-one. How do you gauge whether a kid can really play 5-on-5 basketball? I don't see it. You can see his athleticism, but some kids are athletic but can't play. So I don't get it. Some coaches recruit off of online. They recruit off of X and all these other social medias. I don't understand that either.
Coaches don't even call you anymore. I just had a kid who signed last week.
Yeah.
The coach never called me.
Yeah.
He dealt strictly with the parent.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, as long as he gets a scholarship, I don't care who I don't need to take credit for it.
Right.
But never once, the kid told me, the father told me, but the college coach never called me. And that's right. That's changed drastically from when I first started to now.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't do historical reports on anybody anymore. They just go straight to the kid and the parent. Yep. I'm like, the kid could have gone to 3 damn different high schools. You don't even know. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care anymore. It's a strange thing out here, man. And the NILs and all the other stuff. It's just I just couldn't do it no more.
I would think the NIL is long overdue. Mm-hmm. It just shows you how much money these schools are making on these kids. I really, really believe that these kids should be paid, but I think it has to be a cap somewhere. Yeah. It just can't be, okay, I'm signing for $5 million. I'm signing for $6 million. It's getting ridiculous.
Right.
How do you, as coach deal with that?
I just couldn't do it, and me trying to get back into it, and I saw how the game was changing at Morehouse. I looked around. I said, I know what I'm doing, but I'm not doing this. This is nuts. I said, I'm out. I'm going over here, and they don't pay coaches. Do you know that at those levels that coaches, assistant coaches, some of them only get paid X amount of dollars, and high school coaches get paid more than some college coaches?
Really?
It's crazy. That's why programs suffer.
I mean, it's why we lost so many great college coaches in the last few years. Jay Wright, Roy Williams. Like, if I'm Jay Wright, why would I have to deal with all that? It doesn't even fit his personality. It doesn't even fit his personality. I'll go make money on TV, make the same amount of money, and work a lot less, and not have to sell my soul to people.
Yeah.
But it's a shame, lose guys like that to this profession because they're so great for kids. They're so great for the game of basketball.
Yep. And Jay is going to teach you the game the right way, versus some other coaches that, they just do what they do, but it's just a money show. I can't, I just can barely deal with it anymore. I
was just telling my son the story the other day. I went to, I was at the first practice when Bridges was there. When he first started, he was hurt first couple of weeks, his first practice. And I'm talking to Jay. I said, he's not too good. He said, that kid's going to be a 15-year NBA player. I said, Jay, you really think so? I mean, look at him. He's all over the place. He's all arms and legs. And he goes, telling you that kid's going to be a 15-year pro player. No, he's right. I was wrong. I mean, the kid proved me wrong, that's for sure.
Bridges is wiry now. He's an unorthodox talent.
Yeah. Somebody hit a big shot in that game tonight. I don't know who, but my son was screaming. So I hope the Knicks are 2-0. Don't tell me though.
I saw the score. They were. I think the Knicks were down by 1. It was 90-89. So I think that the Knicks may have hit a big shot there at the end.
Popped up on the phone. Watch game recap. Knicks 91, Celtics.
Hey, there.
It's there already.
It's there already.
It's there. You might as well open the can's open. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get into it. NBA playoffs recap. We'll get to the Knicks shortly, but I want to touch on some second-round games that have already tipped off, as well as Game 2 going into Game 3. The Indiana Pacers, Cleveland Cavaliers, Indiana with a 120-119 win yesterday over the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cleveland Cavaliers, of course, without a Darius Garland, their star guard, as well as Evan Mobley, who was injured in Game 1. Pacers 2-0. They take one. Donovan Mitchell, 48 points. Still not enough to get over this great Pacers team. Rick Carlisle coaches them the best way he can. Bryant, man, how concerned are you with the Indiana Pacers? I'm sorry, with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Yes, you have Coach Atkinson, who was just awarded NBA Coach of the Year, but to go down 0-2 to lose at home and then to get ready to go into that loud place in Indiana for Game 3, the house that Reggie built, how concerned are you with this Cavs team ahead of Game 3?
Look, I said in the last podcast, I said, I'm going to root for Pacers because I can literally walk to Indiana from my old house. And it'd take me about 5 seconds. The Pacers are not fucking around. They're not fucking around, man. I'm shocked. I'm complete. Cleveland was, man, all season long they were playing defense like they were just a straight GOAT team for defensively. But man, these games are coming down to nail biters at the end, and Indiana just kicked their ass in the first game, and then the second game they just did what they do to win the game there at the end. And I'm like, this team's gonna give people hell. If they get to the finals, woo, and if the Celtics are out,
easy.
Celtics are out.
Celtics are out. The Pacers and the Knicks. Woo!
Hey, look. Indiana shot 52% from the field in that win. They had a very, very, very well collabed contributions from, of course, the stars, Halliburton, Miles Turner, Pascal Siakam. I mean, they just have a well-rounded team. But for this Cavs team here to go on the road. You need Darius Garland back. That's your star guard. He is your point guard. He is a general. You need Evan Mobley because you need size down low to kind of mix things up in terms of Miles Turner and Siakam. But you're not having those two guys in game 2 hurt. Even with Donovan Mitchell having a all-star, superstar performance, 48 points in a playoff game. Yes, that's cool from an individual standpoint, but Kenny Atkinson, let's just face it, the Cavs had a chance to win this game. They were up late in that game, especially coming down to the end of the stretch. Indiana found the way to win. They're going back home up 2-0. Wave those towels, Indiana. Reggie Miller, I know he's proud. But let's fast forward. Let's change some gears. Recap from tonight. Of course, Coach Colicchio brought the birds out of the basket. The New York Knicks are now up 2-0 in the NBA playoffs second round with a 91-90 win on the road. I just don't understand, Boston. What is so hard?
It's real easy.
Knicks team.
It's easy. You live by a jump shot. You die by the jump shot.
Here's game 1. Celtics were up 75-55 in the third. I text Bryant and I said, I think this game's over. Fast forward to the fourth quarter. Celtics they're in a jam. Then they go into overtime. Knicks pull out the win. But just tonight's stats for you guys. I know Bryant loves when we talk about stats. Josh Hart, 42 minutes of play, 23.6 rebounds, 9 of 15 from the field. Anunoby, 38 points, 5.5 rebounds. He wasn't really a factor. Karl Anthony Towns, Bryant said he's going to need to have a big game in this series if the Knicks have a shot. He damn sure did. 34 minutes, 21 points, 17 rebounds, 9 of 16 from the field. Man, got it done. Had some blocks. Mikal Bridges. Didn't we just talk about Mikal Bridges? 42 minutes, 14 points, 7 rebounds, 6-18 from the build, 2-8 from 3. Bryant's favorite New York Knick, Jalen Brunson, 17 points, 3 rebounds, 7 assists, 6-19 from the field. Looking at some stats ahead of from this game, New York shot 43% from the field. They were 9 of 31 from 3. That's 29%. 8 of 10 from the free throws. 46 of 51 was a rebound, with Boston 16 to 10 offensive rebounds was favor in Boston. New York with 19 assists, 11 steals, 5 blocks. Both teams turned the ball over. I know you guys both hate turnovers. Boston 16 to New York's 15. Both were 42 points in the paint. Second chance points, Boston led that 23 to 14. Fast break points, New York 18 to 13. Boston 25 points off turnover to New York's 14. Celtics' biggest lead tonight, just like game 1, but game 2, they were up as much as 20 and lost that. And then New York biggest lead, which was 3. Fellas, coach, let me pick your brain, Colicchio. You're a diehard Knicks fan. You're going back to the Garden up 2-0. New York is going to be rocking. Get your Timberlands out. Get your jeans out. Get your jerseys out. Get the towels out. How happy are you as a Knicks fan for the Knicks to win tonight in game 2? And how confident are you that the Knicks can go back to the Garden and go up 3-0?
I'm just upset that I couldn't watch the end because I had to come on your show. I love your show, but you know I've been waiting for the Knicks to win since 1973 now. I sent my brothers a text the other day that Jalen Brunson's the best New York Knicks since Walt Clyde Frazier, who was my hero growing up as a player. But these Knicks are fun to watch. Maybe it's because all of them went to school at Villanova together, but they really share the ball. And what's happening with Boston? You live by the 3, you die by the 3. You know, when they're going in, when you're going in, you look great. When they're not going in, you're getting long rebounds, you're getting fast break points out of it, you're getting, kick aheads, and I think the Knicks are taking advantage of that. And Carl, like you said, Karl Towns stepping up tonight. Karl Towns needs to step up if we want to be NBA champs. That's why we got him. We got him to win the championship, not just to look good and put up good numbers.
Yeah, it's been an impressive win. When I look at tonight's game, of course, breaking down some of the numbers, Jason Tatum only having 13 points. That's your superstar. That is your guy. That can't happen. 5 of 19 from the field, 1 of 5 from 3, 3 turnovers. I mean, playing 41 minutes of play, this is the time that you unleash the beast in terms of going out there and just being relentless, showing the NBA as well as the fans who you truly are. I mean, he's been in MVP talks. Of course, he's an all-star. His resume speaks for itself as an NBA champion, but put up 13 points in a must-win game at home. That's unacceptable. And I'm sure Coach Mazzulla, he is hurt. He is playing hurt. And I'm sure if I watch tonight's film, you'll be able to see that. Jaylen Brown, 20 points. Al Horford, 29 minutes, only 4 points, 4 rebounds, 2-11 from the field. Not a contributing factor. Drew Holiday, 34 minutes, 10 points, 3 assists, 5 rebounds. Derek White 40 minutes. I mean, they just didn't have that Celtics spark that we know we've seen. But as Coach said, their identity is 3 points. They'll live and die by the three twice on Sunday if you let them. And shooting over 43s in the NBA game, that's the second night or second time this series that they shot over 43s. That just should be criminal. I know Bryant hates threes in general. He's a back to the basket kind of guy. He's always been that way. And we'll see. Bryant, do you have any faith that the Celtics can go on the road into the Garden and steal one in game 3?
Only if they have a secondary offense. They just don't. It's when you don't have that secondary offense, and if you're struggling from behind the arc, you're going to lose. And they lost the first two. I'm surprised by it. It's you allow Karl Anthony Towns to score over 20 points. I know in high school when we played against Karl Anthony Towns, he was averaging 20-some points a game. But then when we played them in the TOC finals, we held them to 7 points, and that was Abdul Lewis. So it kind of figured out that you need to go to the drawing board and say, hey, we have to isolate Karl Anthony Towns and keep him off the boards and keep him at minimum points and keep him under 10, and then isolate the rest of the guards and dominate it defensively, and then stop shooting all them damn threes. It makes no sense. You up 20, you shoot 63s, and you lose the game. That's just dumb basketball. And if it's me, I'm assistant coach. I'm going to the head coach and was like, man, you got to stop being a fucking idiot, because at the end of the day, you got to control his offense. We got to put the back to the basket, and we got to score chippers. Mid-range game is be able to score. Just dumb.
Get fouled.
Yeah, something. Go to the line, slow the game down. But they're not.
Not too many people fouled 3-point shooters.
No.
Oh, just dumb basketball. Like it just. So I'm sitting there like, yeah, I hope the Boston do get their ass kicked, because they're not making any freaking adjustments. It's just what it is. Until they change.
I have one thing to say. Dave fucking McSwain. You have been riding my coattails since the Lakers lost. I know we've gone fishing. I know Minnesota beat us 4-1. But, brother, you down 0-2. I can go get the marina. I can go get fuel the thing up, get the fishing rods ready. I don't know if it's your time to go fishing yet, but the Celtics in trouble. Let's just call it for what it is. The game 3 at the Garden, all the stars are going to be out. That place is going to be sold out, rocking. You can feel the ground shake. I mean, this is playoff basketball, for crying out loud. And I know I'm rooting for the Celtics in this series. Damn right. I said it. Damn right. I'm going for them. But right now, Knicks in control, brother. Knicks are in control. Moving on, Nuggets and Thunder. That game is currently going on right now. Live score right now is Oklahoma City's up 40-18, 55 seconds in the first. They got out to a hot start. We love hot starts, and OKC has got an impressive hot start from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's 4-4 currently from the field. Dort has got 10 points. Heikenstein's got 6. Denver's up 1-0. They took game 1 on the road thanks to this man right here, former Oklahoma City guard Russell Westbrook. If you don't remember, he had the game-winning assist to Aaron Gordon for the 3 to clinch the game and to have them go up 1-0. But of course, Bryant, right now, Thunder is up 40-19. What is your takeaway from first Oklahoma City losing game 1, and secondly, what do you expect to see from them in game 2 tonight?
Well,
hold on 1 second. I don't know how you can make 3 sentences up about Denver, and not mention the Joker.
I
was getting there.
How did you not mention him?
I was getting there.
I don't think I've ever seen anybody like him in my life.
The Joker is tough. I mean, he's unbelievable, and he's crafty as all hell.
Well, game 1 he had 42 and 22.
He plays like an old man plays.
Yeah, he plays like me.
Old man.
Yeah, he plays this high off the ground.
Yep.
He doesn't move. He moves stiff, and he averages. He's dropping 42.
He dominates space.
Yeah, he knows how to use his body.
Yeah,
it's just what it is, and he's creative as all hell. And he gets it off. That 1 3-point shot, I was like, yo, what the hell is he doing? And yet, I just can't believe that he's really, really getting it off. And you can say the same thing about Jalen Brunson, because Jalen Brunson is not athletic. He's not fast. He's not skilled. He's not quick. He just know how to fundamentally play the game.
And they're both so strong. They're physically strong.
Yeah, they just play low to the ground and play smart. It's just what it is. With Denver, Denver is going to be tough to beat. I like the team. I'm not a fan of neither one. I think OKC plays great defense, just like Cleveland did. But now you're getting down to the nuts and bolts, and it's basically is win or go home. So everybody's playing a little harder. So defensively, I think this thing is equally matched all the way around the board, and it's going to come down to the last minute or two of the game, and it depends on who can execute.
Can OKC win tonight?
I don't know.
5-21's the score.
Look. Yeah, so was this the Celtics game. And that bullshit.
They're up 20. Yeah.
They're up 20. And so the NBA, I don't put no stock in the NBA. I just don't. You can sit there and you can play, you can gamble, you can sit there and play a parlay on the bullshit. I would never, ever in my life again bet on a NBA game because that is some bullshit. You sit there and you shoot 55,000 threes and just throw the game away. I don't trust none of these clowns. I just don't. So, you just throw the ball in the air and just let's see who wins in the last minute. That's just what the game is.
It's amazing that you see leads disappear like that. You guys are up 20 and all of a sudden they're down 2. I've never seen that in basketball
ever.
Recently.
This is something that bothers me with the NBA, Coach. We see teams in today's NBA where they're up 20, but they'll sit there and allow a 14-2 run happen. Coach, 101. 6-0 run, 8-0 run, 10-0 run, timeout, stop the bleeding, get in the huddle, figure this shit out, get back to the drawing board. But these these days, I think the other game where I believe it was New York, they went on like a 14-2 or 16-3 run. It's like, what the fuck? How did we get here? And that's just where we are in terms of the NBA. So, I mean, I'm with Bryant and Coach Colicchio. Of course, no league is safe in today's NBA. I mean, you could be down 20 and then turn around, you're down 2, and you still got 3 minutes left to play in the fourth quarter. And this the way the coaching style is. There's only a few great coaches left in the NBA, but the style of play is just insane, right? And then we look at a Coach Kerr team. Like right now, we'll talk about the Warriors in Minnesota. They're going to have Steph Curry, going into game 2. And Anthony Edwards, being the leader of this Minnesota team, laid an egg in game 1. And he's their leader. He's their guy. And Bryant's a big Anthony Edwards fan. And he loves Ant-Man, but shit, they lost 99-88 game 1 at home. Anthony Edwards wasn't really a factor. 9 of 22 from the field. Obviously not shooting the ball effectively. But if his shot's not flowing as a star, you have to find other ways to get your guys involved. I mean, you can't have, Rudy Gobert have the game of his life last series against the Lakers and then only comes out and has 9 points against the Warriors. And, I'm with Coach Finch here, head coach of the Minnesota Timberwolves. You're the leader of the team. You got to come out and set the tone. Like, you have to come out and be aggressive. All the great ones do it. I mean, unless have different styles of playing systems, but you can't come out and be passing the ball deferred because the Warriors are hot right now. Let's just call it for what it is. They got hot at the right time. You had Draymond Green come out in game 1 and come out with 4 straight threes. God, I didn't see him shoot the ball that well since he was at Michigan State. But this is just what Coach Kerr and this identity has been for this Warrior team, and they're a well-seasoned veteran team, of course, with the addition of Jimmy Butler. But I expect more from Dante DiVincenzo. I expect more from Mike Conley, who's a point guard and has 0 points. How's that possible in a playoff game? And Mike Conley is one of the seasoned vets on this Timberwolves team as well. It's been to the playoffs in multiple seasons with the Memphis Grizzlies. Been to Western Conference Finals. I expect more out of Rudy Gobert. I expect more out of Jaden McDaniels. They had all these fucking stats against the Lakers playing the game of their lives. But now that they play against a well-seasoned veteran Golden State Warrior team, Bryant, what do you expect from Minnesota in game 2 with the Warriors not having Steph Curry?
Well, my thing is that we know with Ant-Man is that he plays the hype. He was hyped up for that first series against the Lakers. He was hyped, so he had a point to prove. This one here, Golden State is not that type of team, except for your crazy man. So at the end of the day, Ant is he's going to have to step his game up. He's going to have to come out and play the same way he did the first series, and and get this team back into a 1-1 tie. Do I think they can do it? Yeah, I think they can do it. I think anybody can do it in this damn league. Hell, it's already been proven. And I think the NBA is wacky. It's not what it used to be back in the early 2000s, even though this generation think that this is the greatest thing in sliced bread because they haven't seen shit since when we was in our 20s and 30s. But, my fault, my young man, my fault. Yeah, basketball today sucks. Just what it is.
I agree. I'm old school, brother.
It's what it is. But, do Ant-Man, do I think he can do some great things? Yeah. They try to compare him to Michael Jordan. He's not.
He's got similarities. There is some there. Easy.
He's not. He's not. He's not. He showed flashes of greatness, but
that's what I'm saying.
He's not. It's just what it is. He's not. He's not.
He's only in year 3.
Right. Well, Jordan was him at year 1, so he's not.
Yeah, his teammates was getting high off cocaine. Come on, man.
Look, Jordan was him at year 1. Ant-Man is not. Great freaking player. Probably want to be one of the top 15 of all time if he keep doing what he's doing. Maybe, but he is not him yet.
So here's my next question: do you think that Anthony Edwards can win an NBA championship in Minnesota?
With the right tools around him, yes. With what he has around him right now, no.
Man, I look forward to game 2 tomorrow night. Minnesota's got to win because we know Golden State, regardless of what you say in the regular season, playoff basketball in Golden State is a whole different animal, a whole different breed. And I look forward to this matchup. I'm curious to see what Coach Kerr's game plan is going to be, of course, coming out to start game 2 without having Steph Curry, because that's literally 30 points that you're going to be missing in game 2. But I expect, of course, Jimmy Butler to step up. I expect Draymond to have another game like he had in game 1. Don't think he will. Him and consistency just don't get along for whatever reason. And let's just call it for what it is. Minnesota has been the most, I'm not going to say surprising, because we all, besides me, knew that the Timberwolves were the better team against the Lakers. And right now I feel like they're still on that cloud 9 of getting that playoff win, getting that playoff series win. But you got to get back to business. You got to be ready to go against Steve Kerr's Warriors team. And you get to catch that action tomorrow night, 8:30 on TNT. But Coach Colicchio, is your volume good to go? Or can I bring you back in, or are you still having some difficulties? Earth to Coach, come in. Unmute. Can't hear you, brother. This is not good. we still have another half of the show to go. You can't bail on us now. Do you want to call a timeout? Want to go to the huddle, draw it up? Chris, man, help him out.
Wait a minute. Get in the huddle.
Get in the huddle. Hold on. We got. As I remember Bryant didn't have clipboards. They go like this and the fucking
you got to set a back screen and you got to hit the right side of your phone to get the voice volume going.
Bryant, man, this has been awesome. I am just so happy to see Coach Colicchio here. I mean, this has been something that's been long overdue. I do look forward to our dinner. I do look forward to that. I think you guys in person, I don't know if you guys are going to flip chairs like you guys used to, but
no, we too old for that, man. I'm 55. I know he's right around 58 or something like that.
Okay.
I still look like I'm in my 40s. I think, maybe, who knows? I minus some hair here, there, but
put that hat back on.
Hey man, my hair is, I'm getting bald, and I'm like, I'm losing. I got a butt print in my head.
Hold on, America.
So
This man, Bryant, has, I've been taking vitamins for a pretty long time. Shout out to Dr. Galvin. Dr. Galvin, you're the greatest. But, recently I had to refill my damn vitamins and I had to spend over fucking $200. I told Bryant, these vitamins better make me live until I'm fucking like 100. Is he back? Coach, you good? Earth to coach. All right, we're out of the timeout huddle. We got to inbound the ball. We can't have a delay.
You get ready to get a 5-second call.
5 second. Maybe he's getting a call. Maybe it's Coach Tibbs calling him to, go over X's and O's ahead of game 3. I'm not sure. But this technology, folks, it could be a gift and a curse, as you're seeing right here tonight on the Rewind. Man, this has been awesome, Bryant. I really look forward to you this weekend crushing that test. I'm going to be away on an important trip that I must kick ass and take names myself.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you look forward to most ahead of this exam on Saturday?
I'm not looking forward to that shit. Come on, man. That exam. I practice taking that damn exam in my sleep. That shit is annoying now. I'm back at doing that shit again. Oh,
that's perfect.
Yeah. I still wake up and get shit wrong. It's just so many concepts to this shit, and it made no sense.
I would like to bring up our conversation from 6:00 this morning, but I don't think that's perfect for tonight's show.
Well, what was the conversation? Shit,
he's back. Out of the timeout huddle. Coach Colicchio has drawn up the game-winning play. Coach, I'm putting you right on the hot seat. 19-6 this year. Of course, your team didn't get it done, losing to Plainfield in the state tournament. What's your take on this year's team, and how do you mentally right now where you are? How do you prepare for getting ready for another year with your returning players and a chance to go get another state championship?
Well, we've been in the gym the day after we lost to Plainfield. We've been in the gym lifting and getting ready. But, we lost to Plainfield 4 times. Nobody's ever beaten us 4 times. They had an unstoppable player they brought in. And Micah Gordon, the coach's son, is tremendous guard. He can score when he wants. He passes. He knows how to play the game. He's a very good basketball player. With that being said, we were in almost every one of those games. The county semifinals, we're down 5. We steal the ball. We go and we dunk the ball. All of a sudden, the referee waves off the dunk. He said my guy on the outside held off the defender from getting there. So rather than being down 3 with 2 minutes to go and then being a little nervous, now it was a 5-point game where they waved off the basket. But they were better than us. We have to get better. It's that simple. We have one kid who came back from a Catholic school by the name of Jalen Maldonado, who's going to be a big difference maker for us. I think if we had him last year, we wouldn't have been 19-6. He could play. But, we graduated a lot of seniors. We graduated Jordan Torres and Cam McCray, who were both 1,000-point scorers. And we graduated Nas, who inside was averaged double-double. So, we gave up. We got a lot that left. But our cupboard's never going to be bare. We have our JV kids coming up. And in today's day and age, you never know who moves. We have like 4 or 5 kids that are in Catholic schools right now, starting for Catholic schools, and I hear some of them are coming back. So we'll see. If they come back, we'll be tough to beat again. You have to have players. You have to have players. Without players, I don't care who you are. You have to. You can say this guy's the best, that guy's the best. You have to have players to win. That's the bottom line. It's flattering when people put you, and say you're one of the best in the state and blah blah blah. That's all flattering, but you still have to have personnel. I'm not going to Short Hills and winning 600 games.
I got one question for you, Coach. One question. You're on the hot seat, and this may piss you off, but that's okay. That's what we do in a Rewind. If there is one game in your career over the years you've coached, what is one game that you wish you can get back?
Against Eastside. My first year back at Elizabeth, we did everything right that we said in the timeout. How we were going to force the little guard to go We had the kid Josiah West, who was one of the best shot blockers in New Jersey. We were going to force him right in there. And that little son of a gun, you weren't beating him. I was, like I said, I was so glad when he graduated. I was going to send him a graduation card just to make sure he was gone. Talk about a winner. What's his name again, Brian?
Nas Amos.
Nas, just a winner. And did it in the grace. And when he got hurt the one year in the tournament Group 4 final, correct?
Yeah, if he didn't get hurt, we would have won that game. That was critical in a critical moment right there at the end.
Yep.
Twist his ankle, and then it kind of threw the monkey wrench into everything. But yeah, he's one hell of a player, and it's a shame that certain things happen AAU wise with Nas that kind of curtail his career, and it just I'm kind of upset about that still because this young man, I personally think that he could have played at the D1 level. He's no different from a lot of taller guards that I've seen, and in my opinion, he can basically pretty much dominate Division I level as well. So I'm upset about that. The way no knock to Felician, but yet I thought he was better than that.
Well, Brian, I had Desmond Wade, who was the best guard in New Jersey, I thought, for 2 straight years.
Mm-hmm.
Desmond had no scholarship offers. I called up Coach Hurley and I called up Kevin Boyle. Said, do me a favor, will you make some phone calls from guys who played against this kid and let some of these guys know? And then Tom Penders flew in. We had a workout. He was at Houston. Tom Penders flew in. He watched this kid work out. He says, nobody's recruiting him? He goes, I want him. Well, they went to the Sweet 16 his first year there as a starting point guard. And then Tom Penders retired. But Desmond was incredible. And he had no scholarship. Otis Livingston had 0 scholarships. 0. I called up George Mason, and I kept the other school. And the other school came in to see him, but he had Otis got a concussion in our last day game, so he couldn't do workouts. The guy said, well, I have to see him work out. And I said to him, well, you know me for a long time. You can't go. No, I have to see him work out. I can't sign him. Well, he went to George Mason, and he's an all-time great there. He's a celebrity there. He's playing in Greece right now. He was MVP of the league last year. But this guy wouldn't take him because he didn't see him dribble the ball up and down the court. Like, you got to be kidding me.
It's just stupid. And, who's the kid that played at the guard that was played at Tennessee that was with Jimmy Solomon?
Oh, he just finished playing at Tennessee.
He just finished playing
from Immaculate.
Yeah.
Right. Nas dominated him. You mean to tell me that this kid can play at Tennessee and Nas can't?
Yeah.
I
just don't see. I mean, Nas, if you think about it, he was like a Jalen Brunson before Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
He played off of 2 feet.
Yeah.
He was strong as hell. He would wait till he'd make you commit, and then he'd either pass the ball around you or shoot over you.
Yeah.
He's just a kid who's just a good basketball player. And guys, if this was the old days, guys would see him 10, 15, 20 times.
Yeah.
It was offered them. But now they only get out 1 time, 2 times at the very most. They're not seeing these kids enough. And they can't see all the they don't see all the intangibles that they do.
So they rely on the AAU coaches, and I know certain a particular person was kind of put a bad spot on him because he wouldn't transfer. But I'm not gonna go down that road.
Nope,
it's just shame that you would do kids that way, and it shouldn't happen. And the AAU coaches got too much of a strong hold, got them in a chokehold over these kids because it's profit giving. So
I also got my own theory. You and I, throwback guys like you and I, we tell the kids what they don't want to hear. Those AAU guys tell them what they want to hear.
Yeah,
they tell them how good they are. They tell them, and we're telling them how shit they are.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where their loyalty lies. They want to hear. They want to be stroked.
Yep. Feel good.
And look, Bryant took that situation very personal, and let's just say that team didn't beat Eastside since Bryant took that personal. But when we talk about Nas Amos, we talk about all-time leading winner at Eastside. We talk about high IQ. We talk about great teammate in terms of just putting confidence into his guys, finding the right player, making the right plays on the floor, getting to his spots. trusting his teammates, trusting the coaches. I mean, I've never seen in my 4 years being involved with the team, him bad mouthing or doing anything. Just an ultimate team leader, someone that you want to draft on your team any single day, twice on Sunday before you go into any battle, any war. Went on to Felician, 4-year career, graduated, and doing great things and giving back. Where he's now at Eastside, giving back to help fund and hopefully get Eastside back to the winning ways that we used at the standard that was once set, but also pouring into players that they need, because that's just what it's all about. But Coach Colicchio, my question to you: you like hot takes? Do you like hot takes? Do you maybe? Yeah. I noticed that first take, or I know it's a little bit different. But here on the Rewind, we have hot takes, and Coach Garv has a hot take every single week. Here it is.
All right. So, Coach Colicchio, I don't know how much you watch football. But one thing came across my phone, and it was when Nick Saban met with President Trump about the NIL deals and how out of control it is. And Nick Saban went to him for him to sign an executive order. In my personal opinion, for Nick Saban, I thought that was a bad move, because you have athletic directors, you have presidents of all universities, you have unions, you have every ample opportunity to get this together to be able to come up with a deal to where you put a cap on these NILs and control the narrative. Why do we want to mix politics with what we do for a living? I think that damages the game. I think they're putting his influence in there. He's going to think that he can control sports. Leave him out of this. Nick Saban, you can do this yourself and get all the collectives together to be able to come up with some bylaws and some rules and regulations and come up with an NIL type deal to where everyone can be happy. We don't need that type of situation going on. We don't need to. It's enough going on in this world. I don't like mixing that type of politics with sports. That's our safe haven. This is where we can feel liberty to participate and play and watch the game as spectators and coaches. Let's just keep that separate, because we need some type of peace. I don't like politics mixing it. Sports have enough politics as their own. We don't need that side of politics. And that's just my take for this week.
So I'll read part of the article so Coach Colicchio can get a little bit more understanding of it. So if you didn't know,
I think it's
Coach.
Oh, I think my answer is easy. I got a two-part. You're gonna like this one. Well, the first part is he's been doing NIL deals for the last 40 years. So he wanted to go to the president because he wanted to say what he was doing. He wanted nobody else to do it. But we had a player when I was coaching football at Elizabeth by the name of Sean Hart, who played for Saban at Michigan State. And Sean came home after his first year, and he told Jerry Moore, who was the head football coach, that Saban was trying to run him off the team. He wanted to take a scholarship. Jerry Moore gets on the phone. He tells me, sit down and I'm a teacher. I'm a young coach at the time. So just sit there. He gets Saban, yeah, it's Jerry Moore. Hey, coach, how you doing? How am I doing? I'm not doing too good. Let me tell you something, you piece of shit. I'm going to tell everybody how crooked you are and how much you cheat. He goes, Coach, I totally understand. Sean will have a scholarship here for 4 years. And that was it.
What?
I mean,
hey, this is what he said it. I didn't. And I'm telling you, what he did at Alabama, everybody keeps stroking him at Alabama. Now you got me hyped. Everybody keeps stroking him at Alabama. We know that's why he left, because he couldn't be the only one to cheat now.
Absolutely. 100%.
I mean,
just what it is.
A lot of money from dealerships.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So
Calipari ain't much different. You think he would have taken that Arkansas job if he didn't know that chicken guy that well? The chicken, Tyson chicken, whatever. He's giving him all that money. He wouldn't have taken that job.
Yeah. At Arkansas. Do you know where Arkansas is? In Fayetteville? There's nothing there.
Yeah.
Nothing. Let me tell you something. In Fayetteville, Arkansas, because one of my partners went to school there, I went down there and visit him. You can literally play a half of football on the highway. On a major highway. There's nobody there. There's no cars.
We went there for a they used to have a national Christmas tournament there every year. That was one of the biggest in the country. We went there, a Pine Bluff Classic.
Mm-hmm.
And that was Luther Wright's senior year. We went down there. That was the only loss we had in the whole season. We went 32-1. But yeah, Arkansas. The guy told us, "Don't see that road right there. Don't go walking down that road at night." I said, "How about me?" He goes, "You are Italian?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "You can't go walking down that road neither." Okay, I'm staying in my room. I ain't going out of no roads. But
and those are facts.
It's different living out there. But
yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, Calipari, when he was a young assistant coach, two of his first recruits were my high school teammates, Mike Goodson and Chris Gatlin. And
I know Chris.
I know how much time he spent in the gym. I mean, I know I was a younger guy then, but we really didn't look out for that stuff. But that guy was always around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was his first college job.
Yeah. So you got a little bit of history there, Monty. You know, this is probably before you were born or right when you were born.
Probably.
Yeah, it's some nasty things or some nasty work that was going on before that.
What'd you say? What you say?
Nasty work. So it's some nasty work that was going on before all these rules, when the Prop 48s and stuff coming around.
Mm-hmm.
There's some nasty work going on. And these guys don't want to lose that control. That's why he went to Daddy and see if Daddy can control the narrative. No, we don't need that, and I hope they don't sit there and bow down to that bullshit, because we don't need that in sports. We just
politics has nothing to do with it.
Yeah,
Zero.
no.
Well,
But when you're talking about big money, politics has to come in there somewhere.
Yeah, just FYI, if you didn't know this or if you voted, the NCAA dropped a cool $250,000 to lobbyists to seize control of NIL. Good luck, folks.
See what I mean?
Good luck, folks.
See what I mean?
The war has started.
See what I mean? See when you put them in charge of it, now it's a whole big thing. Now it's something that is you're going to cause some issues now.
Yeah. And the other guy wants to stick his nose in any place he can. So
yep.
He's going to stick his nose in it.
Perfect. All right, moving on. Our next segment, the new week edition of the Rewind of the Week, brought to you by. Oh shit, we don't have any sponsors yet. Brought to you by no one. By no one. Let's go.
Here.
Let's go.
Do it. Kodiak Tobacco.
Kodiak Tobacco. Coach Colicchio's Kodiak Tobacco. Rewind of the Week. Let's go. We got some work to do, folks, if we want to get some sponsorships. This is getting out of hand. These segments eventually have to be sponsored by somebody. We work on that. Work to do.
But hold on. Before you go on, Monty. All right, Monty. Before I gotta ask Colicchio this, and he just went off on the tube. Is he there?
I don't know. I disappeared again.
Oh, he's disappeared. He disappeared, but he can. There he is. He can answer this question. How many fucking spit cups do you go through a day?
Not many, because if I keep them around my house, my wife gets mad at me. But I've learned how to keep it in for a while. I don't even have to spit.
I said, as long as I've known you, I always want to ask you that question, because I know my grandmother, may she rest in peace. She used to have this damn bag of. It used to have an Indian head on it.
Red man.
There you go. That shit was disgusting. And she had spit cups everywhere.
I'm surprised she didn't have a big spittoon. Back then, they used to have a big spittoon on the porch for the ladies. I got one of them in my office. I don't use it, but I have one just for decoration.
Oh my God! Yeah, what does that do?
Tastes good. You know what? You're gonna laugh. You know when I started doing this? When I was coaching football. We'd have fucking meetings from 6 o'clock till 1 o'clock in the morning.
That's
so I'd put a tobacco in. I'd get a little droopy there for about a half hour. I'd spit it out. I'd put another one in, get droopy, and then the meeting was over. So that's how I started it. And it just never stopped.
People don't understand that those football coaching, those are some long-ass hours.
God, please.
Man.
That's when we were really good. We won, I think, 2 or 3 state championships in a row. We were number 1 in New Jersey 2 years in a row. We were very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully Elizabeth can get back there. Our sports are coming back around, all of them. And we just hired another new football coach who's a great, great guy. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
All right, Monty, continue on there. I just had to ask that question.
Monty's looking up for dealers right now.
There you have it, folks. Thanks for coming in for this week's episode of The Rewind. We'll see you guys next week. Be well, be safe, be blessed. Take care. All right, thank you. All right, just an update on 2024-2025 Stanley Cup bracket. Chris, our producer, his Maple Leafs are still alive, 4-2 over the Senators, moving on to the second round. But there's one series in particular I want to talk to. There were 2 Game 7s between the Jets and the Blues, and obviously the Avalanche versus the Stars. You can check the Blues game out Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern time on TNT as well as True TV. Stanley Cup playoffs keep moving forward, but the breakdown, Winnipeg's 4-3, 2 overtime victory win. Man, Mr. Lowry came through in the clutch. I love Game 7. Stanley Cup playoffs is where it's at. Currently, the Stars and Jets are 0-0 at the end of the first. And shout out to Chris and his Maple Leafs with a 4-3 victory over the Florida Panthers. Toronto takes a 2-0 lead, moving on to Game 3 on the road in Florida. I am sure Chris is somewhere behind the scenes clapping and standing and cheering for his Maple Leafs team because they are one of the favorites to go to the Stanley Cup this year. We shall see. I just don't have enough time to get into hockey the way I want to because, of course, Bryant's going to do what Bryant does, and Coach Colicchio being the guest, I got to show him more love. But I promise you, I'm going to do an entire segment with Jets NHL playoffs recap. That's it.
Right.
What's up?
Who gives a fuck about hockey?
Oh, Chris does. Our producer does.
Sorry, Chris. But the Rangers aren't in it. I have no idea.
No one cares about them sorry-ass Rangers.
I don't even know any of those teams that you're talking about. Iowa, Ottawa.
Hey, look, my Blackhawks are not in
Dallas
it.
Stars. I mean, Toronto Maple Leafs, Florida Panthers. Like, come on, Coach, get with me.
How do you play hockey in Florida?
We just won a Stanley Cup a few years ago.
Man, I didn't think
Chris, let's get on with Floss and Moss, man. I'm getting annoyed. My blood pressure's going up.
Let's
get us into Floss and Moss, man. Get us a Floss and Moss, please. Before I start with this week's segment this week's edition of Floss and Moss, Coach Colicchio, I want to let you know if Chris charges me extra on this week's bill, I'm sending it to you because there's one thing you don't do: disrespect hockey and disrespect a Canadian. Chris is a proud Canadian. He loves hockey.
Your number one
sponsor. I'm sending him the fucking check. I'm sending him the
Kodiak, your big sponsor.
Hey, holla at us. We need sponsors, man. Holla at us. We need some more revenue to come in because I can't keep doing it. But if you didn't know today, breaking news earlier today, the Dallas Cowboys made a trade for George Pickens, former Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver. Of course, this is a deal that took place earlier today. Dallas sending a few picks for George Pickens. Dallas Cowboys now have their number 2 wide receiver with, of course, CeeDee Lamb being number 1. Personally, in my opinion, I think this is a good trade for Dallas. I'm still not sure who may throw him the ball because Prescott is as suspect as the Chicago Bulls and Billy Donovan being the head coach. We shall see. But in my opinion, this trade helps the Dallas Cowboys in somewhat fashion to make a potential playoff push. But we do know that the Cowboys and the playoffs can get along. I don't think they've been relevant or made the playoffs or even won an NFC champion. First off, they haven't won an NFC East championship playoff game since the 90s. And this past year, they weren't any better. But I think with this trade, George Pickens does bring a lot of baggage to Dallas. If you didn't know, last year in Pittsburgh, he has some issues in the locker room with Mike Tomlin, as well as had some on the field issues in terms of not blocking for his teammates. If you remember against that game against the Colts on the road, just decided to give up on a play. That's something Mike Tomlin doesn't tolerate. But let's just face it, it doesn't make the Cowboys any better. They still won't make the playoffs probably. They probably still will lose twice to Philadelphia. They'll lose twice to the Commanders with Jaden Daniels. They'll probably split it against the Giants. Shout out to Legend Giants, my Giants favorite Giant fan. But Bryant, any quick takeaway with George Pickens? Because I know we talked about Aaron Rodgers going to Pittsburgh. Of course, the partnership of what could be between DK Metcalf and George Pickens, and of course, bringing in a quarterback with losing Russell Wilson and losing Justin Fields to the Jets. How do you feel about this move? And does this move make the Cowboys better offensively despite not having a running back?
I'm going to be real quick. George Pickens, it was great for me in fantasy football. And he became a damn tool at the end of the year. I don't give a shit about Dallas. I can't stand the Cowboys. So fuck them. This is what it is. You know what I mean? And I would not pick him for fantasy of anything because he's a headache. So
he's
now
like a perfect Cowboy. He does.
You can call it what the fuck it is. Yeah. It is what it is. Fuck him.
He want to block for his teammates. Are you fucking kidding me?
This guy's a headache.
Let him go try and catch balls from Zach when he's hurt.
Yeah, this fucking guy is. Oh man,
this has been a very blessing episode. No better way to cap off episode 17. Coach Colicchio, I want to get your final thoughts before we wrap up. Give us what we can look forward to with seeing you and your team this upcoming year. Any plans for the summer? What we got going on after the school year is over?
Oh, we got Philly live. We got New Jersey live. Those are two really big events now in the summertime. We also have my summer league. We play every night in my summer league, so we never travel. We really don't go to Newark to the Zoo Crew League, even though I'd love to. But we play 4 nights in our own league. We got teams from New Jersey. We got teams from New York. It's pretty good, and it's worked. Looking forward to a good year. As long as it's a level playing field, and they don't bring in, we'll see what happens. But our kids are working hard in the off season. I'm not a good loser. I don't like losing. Same thing with Bryant. So once you lose, you got to figure out a way to get back to winning. But you're talking about our season. We were 9-6, and I had one of our administrators come up to me and said, "Wow, 9-6, you coach. You had a rough year." And I said to him, "Hey Doc, you would have taken 19-6 before I came here. Let's not forget what Elizabeth was before I came back. 19-6 would have been a great record. We lost in the sectional final to the team that went on to be number 1 team in the state of New Jersey. We lost to them 4 times. So if you want to call it a bad year, you call it a bad year. Most guys, that's a career year." Mm-hmm. Said, "Yeah, you're right." I said, "Well, let's not put expectations where you can't, ever exceed them. Like, we don't win the state championship every year. We've won 3 of them now since I've come back in 7 years. That's pretty damn good." And the kid, like I said, the kids that bought in right away. Me being from Elizabeth, that helped too. But again, you still have to go out there and win. We won 2 Group 4s. We won the other one. We were going to play Atlantic City again when COVID hit. We had scrimmage Atlantic City that year and beat them up pretty good. So I would have liked our chances. But again, I'm happy to be back coaching where I am. I still love Linden. Linden was great to me. It was home for 20 years, and now I'm back to my original home.
Shout out to Coach Gene Allen, a legend, Atlantic City basketball's finest. Bryant, any final takeaways before we sign off on the Rewind episode 17?
Oh, well, this Sunday I'm gonna go down to Philly for probably just because of a friend of mine from Temple. Her son is playing in the Greater Philadelphia some AAU tournament that's down there. His name is Bryce Hillman.
You and AAU?
Yeah, hey, look, this is I'm for the kid, not for the AAU. So I'm going down there to see the kid Bryce Hillman. He plays at Eastside Camden, and he's a pretty good player. He's a junior. He's going over to a senior year. So this will be the first time that I get a chance to see him live. And I know I've watched him over on film, But I'm a college coach and a high school coach, and I like seeing things up close and personal, so I can give him a few pointers of what he needs to do to get that D1 ride. And it's going to be a nice little ride, hour and 30 minutes. But I'm looking forward to doing that this weekend and see if I can get that itch back again. I doubt it because I got other things I got to do. I got to make money, so I like making money.
And I got one more thing to say before we go. Good luck on Saturday with your test. You're passing it. Flying colors this time. No doubt about it.
No doubt.
No doubt. A lot of faith in you, my friend.
Thank you. Appreciate
I love it. I look forward to us getting together for dinner in some capacity. I look forward to us just breaking bread. Long overdue.
Yep.
Gentlemen, it's been real. But if you haven't, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel at the Rewind_GSC3. We are also on all platforms: Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook at the Rewind_GSC3. Spring and summer merch is on the way. I showed the sample last week that I wore, but we're getting those things ready to go, gearing up for the upcoming year. Shout out to Coach Colicchio supporting us on our first hoodie drop. Our first photo shoot so far is locked in at June 14th. Look forward to that. And, it's going to be a great time. But we need all the help we can get for subscribers. YouTube is where we're at. That's the grind. If Chris knows better than all of us, we're following his lead. And follow us on Instagram. Support us. Apple Podcasts as well, wherever you get your podcasts, at the Rewind_GSC3. I want to give a special thank you to my producer and 1990 Studios, Chris, for putting this thing together. Without him, this would not be possible. So all the grace and glory to Chris and 1990 Studios and what they do. We do plan to go out to Canada to shoot an episode or 2 or 3. Stay tuned. We'll keep you posted with that. We got some other updates coming to you guys in the next few weeks. We're still trying to figure out the logistics of it, but can't wait to break the news to you when you get it. But want to give a special thank you to Coach Colicchio, all-time New Jersey coach, great future Hall of Famer. He is the greatest. Coach Bryant, my co-host, I love you. Monty Moss signing off, episode 17. We'll see you next week. Enjoy the NBA playoffs. Enjoy the NHL playoffs. Go Lakers.
Let's go!
I was checking out the scouting report, and I don't see nothing but bums. You and your whole entire world know that I am the one. You and your squad ain't got nothing for me.
Hey.
Your organization is looking stressed.
What?
And now that you haters is running from me, I know that you see that I'm highly blessed.
Here we go. Yeah, we live with your boy Coach G. Yeah, we live with your boy Monty.
You and your squad ain't got nothing for me. Your organization is looking stressed. And now that you haters is running from me,